make sure that we know who you are. It's the easiest way for us to support you. Oh, all right. Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Brubaker, and this is Career Shift Lunch and Learn. Welcome to the group you never want to be part of, and we know that. We know you would rather not be here. And our goal is with these sessions is to be able to provide you with the research, the tips, the tricks, the coaching to be able to move from this group to your next forever role. We're here to support you, to network with you, and to give you advice as we move forward. I'm Linda Brubaker. I am a career transitions coach, and I've been doing this kind of coaching work now for almost 9 years. In that time frame, 934 of the people that I've coached either through these group coaching sessions or on my own have gotten offers. And I think that's not bad. Before I went into coaching, I was in human resources. I have experience in human resource business as a business partner. Can't talk this morning. It's a human resource business partner. As an internal recruiter, I managed recruiting inside major companies, and I was an external recruiter as well as a hiring manager. So the information that we provide you in these sessions is based not only on our own experience, but also on research with our colleagues on what's going on in the industry. And I'm going to share some in just a moment as well. What we know works. The information that people are telling us is as up to the minute as we can possibly give you. We want to give you information that will help you to move forward. And so we're excited to see you, to support you, and we want to be here to give you whatever advice and support we can. Want to introduce Ken Lang, okay, who is here to support you as well. Okay, let him introduce himself as I continue to get things going.
Hi, everyone. Kenneth Lang here. Sorry if I'm a little bit underdressed. I'm still dealing with the snow outside here in northern New Jersey, getting settled. I'm a Lee Harrison career consultant, which is what I've been doing the last couple of months, working with job seekers. In addition to that, Linda and I are co-authors now of Al Smith's book. I'm here to support you in any way I can. We had a very interesting conversation today amongst the career consultants about some of the challenges that are coming up. And one of the things that we've all agreed to is that networking is going to be different for different types of backgrounds and experiences. So we're kind of working on different plans for that now. Here to help support you any way I can. I'm here mainly to support Linda in any way I can with her. Kim, I believe you were one of the ones that got the LinkedIn Premium. I'd be curious to know if you've used it so far and how it's worked out. Because
absolutely, I've been using it, and thank you so much. And yeah, those additional items that I get to find out about who applied to some of the positions and some of those key tidbits have been fantastic. Thank you, Ken.
Sure. Great to be here.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to start with quick successes. I want to remind everybody, though, as they're putting their information into the chat, do make sure that you are adding your LinkedIn URL. And when you're putting in your LinkedIn URL, make sure that it's a clickable link. That means you have to include the full thing, which means that you start with the https://www. and then the rest of it. We want to make sure that it's easy for us to connect with you. I will, as I mentioned, include the full chat in our private group. But I want to make sure that you're including it or that you're copying it for yourselves as well. Because this is a networking group, we want to be able to connect with you. And so my request for many of you, I'm still on a free account. And for those of you who are, you know that we have only 5 connection messages a month. If you see someone's name and connection information in the chat, my request, if you're willing, is just to accept that connection request without using a connection message. It's a way of being able to increase our network, to be able to expand what we do, to be able to make sure that we are able to follow you, see what's going on, and still use our connection messages if we've run out. Okay, we're going to start with some quick wins, and Lisa's been waving her hand in the air. Okay, so come on, Lisa, share with us what's going on.
Okay. Please forgive me. My mom had surgery, so I'm in the hospital.
Oh.
There's noise, background noise, so
No,
she's fine.
okay,
Background
that was
noise.
the question.
A few things. So in December, you told us to reach out to people that we hadn't spoken to in a while. So I did that, and guess what? I ended up reaching out to a person. She connected with me. We met for coffee and we had like a 3-hour talk. I ended up volunteering for her organization. And yesterday she sent me a DM that said, I see this job is listed. I know this person. If you apply, I will give a good word for you. So
That's
that's
fantastic.
amazing. That's the networking works. It does.
It does.
Sometimes it takes a while, but it works.
Right.
Yeah.
And the idea is we have to be willing to do it. Too often we stand in
Yes.
our own way.
Mhm.
And we don't reach out to those people. So you haven't spoken to this woman in a while?
I hadn't spoken to her since probably around September-ish. And I had reached out, I didn't know her before, but I just connected with her and just had a email conversation actually. And then she said, let's just meet. And I said, okay, I don't have anything to lose. So it was kind of cool.
Very
So
cool.
we'll see what happens, but it's a positive thing. And I had an interview on Monday for a different job, a Zoom call for like 15 minutes. And I have another one for a different job tomorrow. So everything's moving forward.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great. Keep us posted.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Hello there. By the way, for the rest of you, if you don't know, please make sure that you are raising your hand as we move forward so that we can find you if you've got something you want to say. Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew. I had two interviews with the IQVIA, and they said they're going to send my profile to the company for the next interview. And this happened in January 5th. And then a couple of days later, I saw the job reposted again on Indeed and LinkedIn. And I waited a week, nothing. 2 weeks, nothing. And 3 weeks, nothing. And then yesterday they sent me a letter, email that I'm still being considered for that job. Um, I was a little frustrated the last couple of weeks because nothing's happening. No one's responding to my resume. So I guess that's a win. I have
Yeah.
might have another interview.
You know, definitely it's a win. It's a win in my book, Andrew, even if you have the interview and it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. You still had the interview, you still had that opportunity, and you learn something from it, and you never know where it goes. So it's
Yeah.
always a win. Okay. So in your next follow-up, if you do another one, it's always, I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Nothing really more than that. One or two little.
Okay.
Okay. Not the other. The other thing about Indeed that you all should know, we're going to see a lot of jobs posted in different places. That happens. When you see a job that's posted on Indeed, it's often one that is either pulled directly from the company website. Oh, actually not Indeed, but Indeed will repost things. It's called a spider. It pulls it from various places across the internet. So you may see it from somebody else first and then see it on Indeed. It's okay. It doesn't mean necessarily that they haven't found the people they're looking for. It just means that they're broadening the net. And it just means that sometimes Indeed's a little behind the ball in terms of when they post that job. So don't worry about that. Okay. I see another quick one over here. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so I've had two I had an interview on Monday and interview on Tuesday. And this Friday I have two more interviews, one online and the other one in person. I couldn't go out because it's snowing out where I'm at. So we had on that one we had to push one back because the roads are still icy.
I understand, but they're dealing with the same thing, so they understand too.
Yeah,
But congratulations. Where did you find those jobs?
I found them on Indeed and LinkedIn and what else? Glassdoor.
Okay. So I want to talk about Glassdoor for a moment because Glassdoor, if I'm ranking where you're going to find my version, and you can come up with some of that as well, but my version of where you find the best jobs, the most accurate jobs. Number one, company website. If there are companies you're targeting, go there first and always apply on that company site when you're putting in your application. My second one would be Google. Just Google the job title. Okay, because Google again is that spider, but because Google is so powerful, it's pulling things not only from across the web, it's pulling things from those individual company sites. So it's a great place to look. Next would be LinkedIn. People are posting jobs specifically on LinkedIn, and they're paying to post those jobs, which means that in most cases, I won't say it all, but in many cases, those are going to be real jobs. Okay. Or they're at least trying to gather the resumes and you know that it's there. Then further down the list, okay, would be places like Glassdoor, and lowest on the list would be Zip. Glassdoor, again, is that aggregator. It's a spider. Nobody pays that I'm aware of to actually post jobs on Glassdoor. So they're pulling it from elsewhere. So you may see something posted today on LinkedIn, and in a week it's going to be posted on Indeed or on Glassdoor. So wherever you find the job, find it, and then do your application and get it in as quickly as you can. Good luck.
Thank you.
Any other quick wins? Anybody new? If you're new and you'd like to introduce yourself, I see a hand waving.
Hi, oh, hold on 1 second. Get this off. Jackie from Westchester, retired teacher, but looking for part-time work. My specialties were ENL, English as a New Language, and I'm just completed a certificate in reading, or the science of reading. So I was at the Rochester group, which is a wonderful group of people, and they suggested joining you for lunch. So here I am.
I'm very glad. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let me see.
Jacqueline, what kind of reading were just phonics reading, or what kind of reading were you specializing in?
Well, really my specialty is in ESL, ENL, English as a New Language. But I have also, throughout my 20-year career in teaching, helped kids read. So it was a combination. And now there's a new field on the science of reading, which is not only phonics, but it's also science-driven, like information, like background knowledge, and just combining not only the phonics, because maybe you could sound out the words, but that doesn't mean you can comprehend what you're reading. So it's a combination of phonics and then reading comprehension and background knowledge, a whole bunch of like little areas that are combined to really give a child reading comprehension and understanding and reading for meaning.
Okay, so you might want to look out at Wilson, and I forget what the rest of Wilson's name is, but Barbara Wilson created it around phonics. She's been around for 20 plus years. The company's been around for 20 plus years, focusing on phonics and science-based learning. They are sometimes hiring for teachers on call to go through and train the trainers of trainings on their programs and methodologies, both for traditional students as well as dyslexic students. And so they've got a deep there. So that might be something worth taking a look at and diving into. And if not them specifically, look at who's around their orbit, because they've got some competition starting to pop up.
Yep. Okay, thank you so much, Damien. I appreciate it.
That's one of the things that's really great about this group, is that we share those kinds of ideas. That's what this is all about. We learn from you, we learn from each other, we try and share what information we have. So that networking, that was fantastic. Thank you. Okay, you had your hand raised for something else, though.
Well, I was just going to introduce myself, Damian Christensen, project manager. I've got a PMP project manager professional, and I'm out of Chicago, that area. Actually down in Old Town for those of you that are in Chicago. A few successes is that I've actually had some interviews getting set up this week and next week. Finally, after some of these have been in the hopper for 45 days. So it's interesting to see that there's been a lot more movement. Also, I'm just for those that are in the IT space, I'm noticing that there's a lot more subcontractors out there instead of just contracting. And a couple of people were saying is, find out who the prime vendor is and then go back and try and build a relationship directly with those. I've dropped my LinkedIn there, but if you guys want to kind of know who the prime vendors are versus not, I've connected with probably literally hundreds of recruiters, many of them offshore. So I know who the players are. I've been doing this for a long time. So if this is something new to you, I'm happy to kind of go through and give you, especially around IT, how the world of contracting works. There's a lot of challenges with it, but I'll be honest, it's paid my bills for most of the last 20 years. Not without some challenges, but again, it's in a lot of ways, it's been easier for me to do that because I've been doing contracting and consulting so long that a lot of organizations have a hard time thinking they want to bring me in as a permanent because they think that I won't be there, even though they're going to lay me off anyways in 3 years because statistically that's what's happening. But nobody's willing to admit that to themselves yet. So
You're right. But from the HR world, contracting is definitely growing. So regardless of the field, don't shy away from contracts. It's really something very good to look into. Okay, next. Hi there. Is that Marla? Can't see it on my screen.
Mendy is highlighted right now, and Mendy, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Unmute. Can you unmute? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you off the spotlight for a moment while you play with that.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
You can.
Yeah. Hi, so I'm a newbie. This is my first time coming. I wanted to come last week. That didn't work out. Anyways, I met Linda very quickly for a 20-minute intro and thinking of going deeper with her as far as a full career consulting. Anyways, Logan Rosenthal. I am in the northern suburbs of Chicago, so in Deerfield, for those that know the area. I am in really in life cycle marketing, looking for a marketing role, director / senior manager level, somewhere in there. I've been in the space using MarTech for 20 plus years. I have certainly gotten some interviews, and it's just kind of getting over the hump to like seal the deal. So just interested to meet people. Please reach out. I'm very good about following up on any emails and love paying it forward for those I can.
Wonderful. And paying it forward is one of the things we're all about. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Jim, okay. Can you turn on your camera?
Yes, I will. So there was a local hospital that has some positions listed. I applied for them and I have a LinkedIn connection there who's director of HR and recruiting. So I probably don't need to even ask this, but should I send him a DM on LinkedIn or send a letter in the mail?
You can do either or both.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So when you send a DM, especially if somebody's active on LinkedIn, it gets there almost immediately as soon as they log in. When you're sending something by hard copy, by snail mail, remember that especially these days, snail mail really is slow. So don't use that as your only reach out, But if you decide to send something hard copy and you know that person is actually going to be in that physical location, that's going to make you stand out as an additional follow-up.
Okay.
Okay? Because we get so few things in writing. My only suggestion is make sure your handwriting is legible.
Well, I'll print it. I'll print it out and send it. So
Yeah, but
okay.
it won't hurt you. But don't use that as your primary because it
No.
takes too long sometimes to get there.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you unmute now?
Yeah. Can we try this one more time?
All right.
So the ironic thing is I joined last week and my camera and mic didn't work last week and I thought I figured everything out, but okay, we have success. My name is Mindy Singleton. I am a technology manager. My most recent role was as a vice president of end user computing. I'm open to anything in the technology field. I have had a lot of traction and a lot of people. I just want to echo the fact that building a good network is something that is so valuable, and I'm seeing that come to fruition. You know, people I haven't worked with for 15 years coming through the woodworks to see if there's something that I might align with at their organization. So yeah, that's me.
Very good. Now, can I ask you a question? How are they finding that you're looking for something new?
I've been very transparent on LinkedIn, but I have found, because I'm actually really excited, although I didn't choose to separate from my last organization, I'm very excited to seek something new, and I was very ready, and it was a really good time for me to look for something. So I also am taking a much more positive spin on my approach to bring the transparency that I am looking and open to new opportunities. And I really feel that it's not a sympathy tag. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, let's help you. Let's help explore different opportunities that I know that you'll be successful at. So it's been very, very heartwarming.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, that's one of the benefits, by the way, of telling people that you're looking. You don't know where that information is going to come from. You don't know where that next contact, that next resource, that next support mechanism is going to be, where that next job opportunity. Tell people you're looking. And for those of you who know me, you know I'm a green banner proponent. I know Ken is not necessarily, okay? But I am, and I will tell you that I'm seeing increasing success now, even with some of the spam messages you're getting. But I'm seeing still increasing success with people who have that up, who are letting people know that they're looking. That's how people know how they can reach out to you, okay, and give you that kind of support. So I want to start today. Do we have any others before we go? Okay. Just before I got on the call, actually, I read a new research. Oh, okay. Cheryl, did you want to share something too?
Hi there. Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, so I was debating about doing the green banner, and on Friday I was talking to someone that was just like, Sherilyn, just do it. And I've done it in the past, and I've been, just bombarded with AI and all the bots, et cetera, et cetera. I've had my green banner up since Friday afternoon, and my personal opinion is I think LinkedIn must be listening to us, because I've not had one bot like ping me and say, oh, are you looking for entry level, mid level, senior level? What is your salary, comp, situation, et cetera, et cetera. I've not had any of that. So I'm going to take a positive view on this, that I'm thinking that LinkedIn's listening to us, because we're all just tired of it, and we're all complaining about the exact same thing.
I
So
think
that's
you're right.
experience this time. Now I know I'm just one person in a sea, but that has been my experience this one time. It's been
Excellent.
positive.
Excellent. So I'll tell you that at the beginning of the call, Ken mentioned that he and I had both contributed to a new book called Hired 3 by Al Smith. I think it's a great book. It's got lots of different areas, lots of different ideas. And my section of that book is all about telling people you're open to work. So the benefits, the pros, the cons, we'll talk more about that when we talk about LinkedIn visibility, letting people know that you're there. And that talk is actually going to be on February 18. I have to remember my dates. February 11th. Okay, we're going to be talking more about that. Okay, so wanted to talk about some of the research that I just saw. One of which is that you've heard that more companies are laying off again. You heard major companies this morning or yesterday announcing layoffs in the tech fields and among others. I don't see, unfortunately, cracked crystal ball, I don't see that slowing down. What I did read this morning was from my HR colleagues directly. It's an if you're in HR, you know the organization or the publication called HR Dive, which compiles information from across the HR world. And it said several things that I found were very important. One of which is hiring is getting a little more specific. We know that people are really looking for specific skill sets, but on the same side, they are willing now to, if you have something related and you can show how it relates, they're willing to start to move in with some of that additional training. You've got the skill set, we'll be able to help you move into this area. So showing the skills, showing that you're able to learn, that you're interested in learning, what classes you're taking that are related to those new jobs is really important. So is emphasizing the skills you have related to the jobs. Second, they're getting overwhelmed by applications again. AI, we know, is getting involved. We're seeing from the HR side of the house, they're seeing too many resumes that are coming through that look like an exact match to the profile, to the job description. They know that those are AI written. Dismissed. Don't do that. If you're using AI, use it as a source of information, but everything has to be written by you. If it is too quick a match, if you're pulling everything directly, when we want you to pull as much as you can, but it has to be you because otherwise you're going to be rejected. The other thing they're noticing is that there are a number of companies out there now that are offering, in effect, to apply for you. They're AI-related companies. They're seeing those bots sending out your resume randomly. Many times you don't even know the company that it's going to. It's overwhelming them. They're getting really frustrated. They're getting annoyed. And the idea is I would walk away from those kinds of organizations because those resumes too are being rejected. They don't match. It's like that spray and pray approach. You have to target in for the job that you're looking at. The third major insight that I wanted to share is that there seems to be, at least from the HR perspective, they're seeing increased hiring in 3 different areas. They're seeing increased hiring in HR. And I know that there are a lot of you who are in HR in this call. They're seeing increased hiring in certain IT related areas and certain finance related areas. Now in the IT area, a lot of that is going to be contract. But that growth is still there. And when we're talking about skills that you can use, AI we know is a good skill, but it's not just that you know it. We want to see how you've applied it, how you make it work for you to solve problems for the company. Okay. Ken's absolutely right. Please don't post your resume on any job board, including LinkedIn. Your resume is static. The bots are going to find you. You're going to get spam out the wazoo. You like my scientific term there? But you're going to get spammed with a lot of fake jobs and fake recruiters.
And what I found out recently is that once your resume is up there, if you don't take it down, it'll be up there forever.
Yeah. In
So,
fact,
yeah.
Many of us, in fact, I have to go out there and check too. There have to be ways of checking. I last posted my resume probably 15, 20 years ago. Okay. But I posted it on Career Builder and Monster and Dice. Okay. I don't think I ever posted it on Indeed, but you have to pull it off because I'm still getting garbage from some of those old things. So I'm looking for the way to go back in and do it because some of those organizations don't exist anymore, but that resume still is out there floating.
Mhm.
You want to be in control of where it goes and you want to be in control of what you're doing with it. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so this is Craig Cunningham from Connecticut. Great to see everybody. Ken and Linda, thank you for all that you both do. And I think you just answered it, but you're basically saying with both Career Builder, LinkedIn, Indeed, if you've got a resume out there, you really ought to go in and take it off, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And there are ways in the settings where you can remove the resume. But if it's out there and you don't take it off, then then as far as they're concerned, you still exist.
Exactly.
Great.
And you
Thank you
exist
very
in
much.
that history. Okay. That old version of you. Okay. Somebody asked whether or not you should post it on Glassdoor or Zip. Please don't. Don't post it anywhere. If it's out there, please bring it down. You get to control where your resume goes and what you say. And if you don't do that, you can cause yourself some trouble. Okay. Hi there, John.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I was already unmuted. I hope my background noise didn't bother anybody. I'm deleting right now on Indeed my resume, but also I created a profile that looks like entering my resume as well. So I'm assuming delete that as well as the actual resume document.
I mean, I would because a lot of the jobs that are on Indeed and the like, you can find other means to apply to them.
Exactly.
If you apply through Indeed, then you're going through their data, they're going to scrape your data. But if you find where the job is, then apply directly there. Now, a company is still going to have your resume on file, but at least that's a company as opposed to the whole world.
Correct. So yes, I would remove the profile. I would remove the resume. You want to control to apply directly wherever it is you want to go.
Okay, just thought to clarify that. Thank
Because
you.
recruiters also can tell, I'm sure you can back this up, Linda, when a resume comes in, whether it's coming from a job board or coming from a career site.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another, and I don't know if you make a differentiation if it's coming in from one place to the other. I don't know if there's a right or wrong, but I'm sure you get a certain sense if it's on a job board, it means that they've done less research or they're just throwing something out there.
Exactly. You want to be in control. And I'll tell you that when you are applying directly on the company's website, it gets to me, the recruiter, faster. Okay. Anywhere we've discovered from 3 to 10 days faster. More importantly, when you apply directly on the company's website, and this doesn't matter whether you're going in strictly with your own application, whether you're doing it with a referral, it doesn't make any difference. Still has to go into the company's website sometime. But when you do that, I get a ding, as in a notification that a certain number of resumes have been added to my system. And that's my cue to go take a look. If it gets there faster, you get consideration faster while I'm still actively looking. So apply directly on the company website. And yes, I can tell whether it's come from Indeed or Glassdoor or anywhere else, because then it doesn't really, you're right, Ken, you haven't done the research to get where we need to go. Sorry about that. Okay, Charles.
Follow-up question.
Well, I'm sorry, just a moment, Jim. Go ahead.
Did you want me to go or did you
Yes, I
want
do.
a follow-up question from John?
No, go ahead. Charles.
John, you're on mute.
Okay, John, did you have a follow-up question?
Yes, as I'm clearing out my profile, notice that part of Indeed has a number of skills listed. It's like when you look at a job, it'll like say if you got these skills and you're a good match. I'm assuming I want to keep that, but all of my personal information and job history and experience I want to clear out. Does that sound correct?
You know, you can keep it up if you want to, but remember, you're searching for the jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a personal decision as to what you want to do and not do. I think Linda and I are just calling out the pitfalls. I mean,
Exactly.
you can put, yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Sorry. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, Charles.
Yeah, my question was sort of a follow-up. I just removed my resume. It occurred to me that a long time ago, I had posted it on LinkedIn and included it as a separate Word or PDF document. Out of curiosity, since you both have used LinkedIn, it did say, that fear tactic. Oh, if you really delete it, then the recruiters won't be able to see it. Are you sure? But do recruiters really look at it, or it's just being scraped and used for more nefarious purposes?
Yes, yes to the latter.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, it is being scraped. Is a recruiter going to look at it? Not
Not as much as you
not,
think.
not as much as you think. Not only that, not a recruiter for the jobs that you're really looking for.
They'll look at your profile, not your resume. There's a differentiation.
So the idea is we want as a recruiter, I want to know that you're interested in my job, what you can do for me. If you're posting something, it has to be generic. So it's nothing more really than just looking at your LinkedIn profile. It's not giving me any added value.
Right. And as you say, your profile is to drive interest, to have a conversation, so you can then talk about yourself.
Exactly right.
These are our opinions based on our specific background. So you'll talk to five. No, I'm saying 5 people may tell you 5 different things.
Right.
And this is just from what I'm speaking as a career counselor, what I see from that end. Linda's speaking as a recruiter.
Right. So, and based on what my colleagues who are still actively recruiting are telling me, they do not look at those posted resumes.
On a changing subject, there's a post from Karina in the chat at 11:34, which would be a central timestamp. She asked a question that I'd really love if somebody, I mean, I know it's not a solid number, but I think we all sort of have AI that's helped us massage our resumes. I don't think I think we've gotten the message, it's not just a straightforward, you need to edit it, you need to make it your words, you need to be comfortable with the statements you're making, you need to not be deceitful about overselling capabilities that you may not have. But how much, if you look at our post, is how much of it makes it look like AI, and how much of it, like, how much help can you have without?
If you can't go to specific accomplishments related to what is on your profile, that's a giveaway.
Yep.
When you said you launched a product, what was the type of product? How much did it, what was the purpose of the product? Things that AI won't know, but you will know.
Right.
So
So the question in the chat said, can you take specific sentences from the application or from the job description and incorporate it into your resume? If that specific sentence is there, that's an automatic giveaway.
Yeah. If you reword it and put it in an accomplishment as to how you can support a future employer, it's a little bit of a nuance, but it's again, there's no one right or wrong, but I would never take anything right out of AI or a job description by itself.
I was told that in order for the ATS to pick it up, that the wording has to be exact. So there's that contradiction.
Well, an ATS is such a small component of this. I think people are really caught up in I've got to get through the ATS. Well, that's a small part of it, but that's not how you're going to get most jobs.
Correct. And even when you do, so here's the thing with the ATS. An ATS is a file cabinet, an electronic file cabinet. Do you need to have specific words in it? Absolutely, you do. Okay. But when we talk about resumes, we're talking about what you can do to get through the ATS to come up to the top of my list, as well as how do you attract the human eye? It needs to be both. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So I was told that if the job description calls for a Bachelor of Arts degree, you must spell out on your resume Bachelor of Arts instead of BA. Now, I know that certain exceptions with degrees are written into these ATS systems to allow for these differences in calling something BA versus Bachelor of Arts, but I'm just using that as an example of what I was told to do, which is to match the exact wording on the job description to your resume. Otherwise, the ATS wouldn't pick it up and wouldn't recognize it, and therefore would bypass your application.
Ken, you want to take this one to start?
I have a lot. I mean, here's the thing. If I put a resume up there, and I have a college degree, whether it's Bachelor of Arts or BA or Bachelor of Science or BS, which whatever it is, that is such a small component of it. I think people get really caught up in the minutia of all
Right.
this stuff. And I think the conversation has to be, I mean, it used to be the ATSs were helping companies in the same way that AI is supposed to help companies. Now, I think to spend all that time stressing out is just not time well spent.
I agree.
Yeah,
Because, go ahead.
I understand what you're saying. The degree thing is a bad example because that really is a very tiny part of
Right?
things. But so I can't think of another example. But
Let me give you an example.
Why don't you speak from a recruiter's perspective, Linda, because you can probably speak to it a little differently than me from an ATS side.
So from an ATS side, remember that ATS is a file cabinet. It's a sorting mechanism. It's a database, which means that I get to search my database. And I'm going to search my database, yes, with very specific terms. Now, one of the advantages of some of the newer ATS systems is that they do have a little bit of AI built in. I still get to tell it what I'm looking for, but an AI might, depending upon how it's programmed, be able to tell that if I'm saying Bachelor of Science, BS, BA, it all means exactly the same thing. Or if I'm saying Salesforce and CRM, those are the same things.
right.
So in that sense, yes, that's where that AI is coming into play, and it's coming into play nicely in there. When I say that I'm looking for specific terms, think about what terms I would use or you would use if you were doing a Boolean search to narrow down your field from the thousands of resumes that may come in to the 100 I want to take a better look at least to take a start with. So matching some of those keywords is going to be important. That's why you tailor it every time.
So that's part of my question. The other part of it was if it just so happens that that job description really fits you well, because a lot of what it asks for really is what you've been doing, and so you kind of take those lines and those descriptions and you word it exactly like the job description asks for, and then you risk it being rejected by because it's written by AI.
I don't want you to use their wording in terms of what it is you do. I want you to put it in your words. I want you to show me, because job descriptions, remember, are going to be tasks. You're going to show me what you did, not what you're supposed to do. So what did you accomplish that matches that? What was the result that you can generate that matches what they're looking for? I'm not looking specifically for you to match word for word by any means. What I'm listing is in the listing for what you're going to be doing in the job.
Hey, Linda, I just put in the chat for iSIMS. You can get a 15-minute demo, and I recommend job seekers do that just to understand how it works. You don't have to say that you're a job seeker. Now, maybe that's, being misleading, but that way you at least have a little bit of a sense about what's going on, whether it's Taleo or something else. Just learn what it's about.
And Taleo, by the way, is one of the good job ATS systems out there. There are well over 200. Yeah. Taleo is one that I've used a lot. There are several others as well. I know that there are some suits going on right now, lawsuits, major lawsuits against Workday and several of the others, because they misuse that whole concept of AI. So do be careful with some of those. Okay. Next question. Okay. I'm trying to see. Lisa Beth, I think your hand was up next.
Okay, I just have a quick question regarding resume and like certifications. If you certify, to give an example, I register, I'm a coach. My certification expires at the end of this year. I don't plan on redoing it. I'm licensed, I have it, but to me, recertifying is just for them to get the money for it. It won't do anything for me to get the certification again, but I've listed it on my LinkedIn and it will show that it expires. Is it worth it to keep my credential on there and remove the certification certificate on there, or do I keep the certification on there and show that it expired? I still am right. I've gone through the program. I've received it. I've graduated, but my dues to the organization will be expired. How do you handle that?
So my feeling is, Elizabeth, number one is, are you planning to use that certification in the job you're looking at?
I don't know. But there's there's like parts of like your mental health first aid. You could redo it every couple years, but you don't need to.
No. So for some of those, I would take off, like mental health first aid, take off the date. You don't need it. Okay. If it's a certification that you think is going to help you in your new job, sorry. If it's a certification that will help you in your new job, then you may want to leave it on. But otherwise, you can take it off. Or you can, with your certification, if it expires, take the date off.
Okay.
But you don't need to add it to your resume unless it's important for the job you're looking at.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't necessarily put it on the letters after your name on LinkedIn. Jacqueline, can you turn your camera on?
Oh, my camera's on, isn't it? I have two devices on. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I have two. I have my computer and my iPad. My question is, so I'm working on my LinkedIn profile, and luckily enough, I'm listening to you and know now that I don't want to put that resume on there. But I always feel like that's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there are companies that I'd like to apply to, or educational institutions I'd like to apply to, but how do I know? I mean, that might just be the tip. How do I hear about other jobs I might be unaware of?
So are there organizations, number one would be to find some organizations you're interested in.
Okay.
Target them, go to their websites. Second is to do this networking here. You've got some suggestions here. Okay, you can get some suggestions in our private group. You can ask online. There are several groups on LinkedIn that you might be able to join, okay, that are related to what you want to do. And instead of searching specifically for a job title, okay, LinkedIn gives you the ability to do a search based on the tasks that you want to do. So, for example, with ELL, ESL, reading specialties, you might include that instead of a job title and see what shows up.
There are also a lot of certain very specific job boards based on specific industries that don't necessarily show up. For example, the school systems, they have their own job boards. They have their own places. Sometimes they'll even post online.
Yep.
Organizations. And if you don't know where to find them, and I put this in the chat, ask AI or ask someone else or Google it to let it do that work for you.
That's a great use of AI. If you're looking in the college area, highered.com or higher ed, I think it's called highered.com.
I'm familiar.
Okay, is a great resource. It posts a lot of those opportunities. And one of the things that I like about that site, as opposed to some of the others, is again, it's one of those sites where you have to pay to post.
And then one second question I have is certifications. If you're in the process of getting like certified in a certain area, can you put it on your resume and write in progress, or is that okay? And what section would I put it in? Would it be under education?
I put it under, I don't know about you, Ken, but I put it in and say education and relevant certifications or training.
Yeah, I would too. I would just be a little bit careful about something in progress, because if you decide you're not going to do it, or eventually it gets completed, you want to make sure that everything is updated.
Correct. And the way that I would phrase it is not in progress. I would say expected on. or expected by. And then so give yourself a little grace.
Okay. And again, repeat what section I would put it in?
Education,
Education.
certifications, and relevant training.
And you can put in your about section also if you want to refer to it. Again, that's another thing to think about.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So one of the things you may have heard about is the rule of three. Okay. LinkedIn, it never ever hurts you to do things more than once. You can have it in your about section, you can have it in your skills section, you can have it in your experience section, your education section, your certification. We're talking LinkedIn. You can do it on your resume again in more than one place. So if your certification is relevant to the new job, put it up top in your skills section as well as in your education and certifications. More than once is okay. Redundancy helps, not hurts in this case. Okay, I see other hands up.
David Pryor, could you please mute your microphone? We're hearing
Yes,
you
please.
typing. Thank
Yeah.
you. Awesome. All I needed.
No, I agree. So if everybody's hands, everybody should be muted unless they're going. Okay. Robin, was your hand up? Robin McKenzie?
Hi, I was just having a tough time hearing you as well, but it sounds like they muted, so thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh. All right. Other questions? John, did you have another question or was that just about David's mic?
Nope, just wanted to get it muted. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay. Other questions? Okay, so when we're talking about resumes, here's the thing that really matters. Don't worry so much about form in the sense of making it look pretty. Okay, I know a lot of you are using Canva resumes. Please don't. Your goal is to make it easy for me, the human eyes, the dummy on my side of the desk or the screen, as well as that ATS. An ATS system won't care about form as long as it can read it. But I'll tell you, even with an ATS system, that heavily formatted resume is harder for it to read. The ATS doesn't know where to find the information. More importantly, it can't figure out necessarily where to parse that information into the fields that it wants to use for its research. So please don't do that. We all know that a phone number is a phone number. You don't have to label it. No more objectives on the screen. Okay, unless this is your very first job out of school. I don't want to know what you want to do. I want to know what you can do for me. So professional summary replaces the objective, and a professional summary is what you can do for them, what you are bringing to this role. One reason not to post your resume is that you're customizing it every time. So it's not about everything you can ever do. It's about what you can do for me. Okay, that's what really makes it important. Do you have to change everything? No, you don't. You might want to rearrange some things, but here are the sections you absolutely must, my opinion, my HR colleague's opinion, okay? The HR research opinion says these are the things that you really must change each and every time. At the top of your resume, right underneath your contact information, you are going to label your resume with the name of the position to which you are applying. My first visual cue that this is the job you want. You're going to change that professional summary so that it focuses in on this job. You're going to change your skills section. And yes, I really want you to have a skills, expertise, core competencies section, whatever you want. I don't like the word core competency because it sounds too generic. More importantly, an ATS is programmed to look for the word skill or expertise, not competency. Now, it'll find the words anyway, but we want to make it as easy for it to find the words you want them to find as you can. My recommendation is to put that skills expertise section at the top of your resume, not at the bottom. Again, an ATS is going to find it wherever it is, But when human eyes take a look at it, you've got 2 to 8 seconds to get my attention. I may not get to that second page. So that first quarter to third of a page, that's your hook. If I don't see what I'm looking for there, I may not take the time to skim now. I may put you at the bottom of the pile to come back to. So grab me right away. Ken, by the way, chime in with any of this if this isn't making sense to you.
I was actually just responding to Kristen's question in the chat, which you could relate to too. Is it a bad idea or seen a negative light to apply for multiple jobs at the same time at a single company? And my caveat is there may be one recruiter hiring manager for all the jobs, in which case it doesn't matter, and you may knock yourself out of all the jobs just by doing that.
And I agree with you. And from a recruiter's perspective, I can see your job history with my company, the application history. Okay. I would be very wary of that. If the jobs are the same title but different departments, I don't care. That's fine. But if you're applying to an event planner and an IT professional and a call center person for the same company all at the same time, you have no idea what you want to do. You're just reaching out blindly to try and get hired. That's a red flag in my mind. So be very specific about what you're looking for. Now, if you applied for a job and you have a different one that looks like it's of interest in the same company, wait a while, find that resource and try and get in that way. But I would wait before applying again. Okay, see where you are in the original process. I know that that sounds counterproductive to being able to apply for lots of things, but be very careful about that.
So I see Kim has a question, or Kim has her hand up.
Yes, so I always had 2 sections, one with the skills, and now I know not to put the soft ones, as you talked about before, but I had a technical one. And should I combine them, or should I still keep the technical separate?
I would combine them.
Okay, thank you.
A skill is a skill. And remember, that's the hard skills too.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think that that's important. And remember, even though it's a technical skill, Microsoft is not one that you include unless you're becoming a Microsoft programmer. Right? It's like saying you know how to walk and chew gum at the same time. So be very selective in terms of the ones you want. You want the ones that are going to help make you stand out. So it's not every single software piece that you know, not every single technical. It's what's technical that relates to this job. Okay. By the way, that is a little better in the black, but you might want to move it down a little more because some of it gets lost to the left. Sorry about that.
So Claire has her hand up, I see.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
I'm just piggybacking on the conversation with regard to the skills section. I learned the hard way, but I'm moving forward with regard to ATS optimization. My previous resume had my skills in a nice, beautiful table. Well, yes, exactly. So I'm just passing along knowledge that maybe everybody else already knows, and I'm late to the game, but I recently spent a significant amount of time redoing my resume that was just gorgeous. But guess what? That was not ATS optimized. So I was very, this time around, I really focused on, the proper bullets and the dashes that ATS prefers. And also my skills were not in 2 columns. They were really separated out by, I don't know the separator, it's the line.
The gate.
Yeah.
The gate.
Okay, thank you. So it's just AI has helped me tremendously, and I'm now good, better for it. But it's frustrating because I think that I lost a lot of opportunities. But moving forward, I have a lot more knowledge than I had before. So I'm trying to put one foot in front of the other. But I learned a hard lesson. But it's been a rewarding experience to learn a lot more with regard to resume formatting and our because of ATS.
Yeah. So here's the thing. plain, dull, boring resume works. No tables, no text boxes, no columns, okay? No icons, no graphics, dull, plain, boring, straight, old-fashioned resume.
And
So-
one more thing is,
Yep.
I'm so sorry, I
No,
took
please.
great pride for so many years, you know, everything nice and centered, that everything right now is plain, ATS reader friendly, and left justified. And I'm crossing my fingers.
It's not just ATS reader friendly, it's human eye reader friendly.
That's why
Yeah.
I put in alphabetizing your skills. Sometimes if you alphabetize your skills, it's easier on the reader to read them A, B, C, as opposed to what you want to see. Again, that's
From a
just
human factor
human.
perspective, thank you very much.
Just something to
And so, yep, the other thing is you can do it alphabetically. You can also do it in terms of which ones you think are going to be most important for the new job.
Yeah, exactly. There's all different schools of thought, but things to think about. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quick, assuming that I can play with this. There are several different ways to list those skills. And I want you to take a look and see which way for the human eye seems to make more sense to you. Okay, because remember, it's not just the ATS, it's the human eye. So I see a lot of skills done like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To the machine, that's fine. But my eye, this is so much easier to read. All I did here was tab it across. And I will tell you that my colleagues seem to prefer this better because it allows me to hone in on what you're doing. This looks like word dump. This is very deliberate.
Or you may want to have a bold face as the different types of skills and list the skills next to it. Technical, you might have listing skills there. Areas of expertise, maybe under another way with a bold face next to it. Again, it's readability. There's no one right size to this, but it's something to think about.
Exactly. So think about the way you want to do it. I talked about that idea about the power of three, that three across psychologically. Things in threes make a difference. It's easy for me to see, to read, to catch on to. And because you're doing it this way, it looks like it's very deliberate. Okay. An AI is going to write it that way. An AI is much more likely to write it like this. Okay. Next thing is that the section that I often see missing.
Yep.
Here's another section that you absolutely positively have to add to your resume. You've got those 2 to 9 seconds, 8 seconds to grab my attention. You want to tell me what you can do for me? You highlight what you can do for me in that accomplishment section. Accomplishments would be the 2 to 8 most significant things you've done anywhere in your history that are related to the new job. You're pulling it out of the job because that makes it more generic, more applicable to me. I want to know the specifics of what you accomplished, a little bit about how you did it, maybe. Short bullet, no more than 2 lines. But by pulling it up top, I'm not seeing it in your history. I'm not seeing it in your past. I'm seeing it in your future, in my future. So that's the way I would do those. Charles, you had another question.
Yeah, so obviously you would remove those accomplishments from the appropriate section in the resume.
Yes.
And you would, I guess, as someone who's in sales, those accomplishments could be more generic, where you're saying you're exceeding quota across multiple jobs, so it looks more significant, but it is also true. I mean, if you're
I would be careful with something as vague as it exceeds quota in multiple jobs.
I could assign percentages to say by how much, but Um, it, I guess that, yeah, okay.
Okay, but the idea is, yes, it's walking that fine line between specific and generic. Okay, specific in terms of what the accomplishment is. Generic, you're taking out the name of the company and perhaps the name of the industry. And certainly the year, unless it was last year. Okay, or the year before. But increased sales by X% year over year, that's important. That I can see regardless of where you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know, or organized office hours calls or led office hours calls to help salespeople become better technically versed in the product catalog.
Again, that's a task. Okay. You developed and implemented coursework to enable salespeople to do this, increasing their sales by X%.
Okay.
There needs to be a result, not just an activity.
Right.
And if all you have a space for is the result, then do the result. So we all talk about CAR T or CAR or STAR and START, whatever it is. All I really want to see here, I don't need the rest of it. All I'm really interested in is what is that result? The result tells me how you solved a problem and how you can solve that problem for me. And not only that, if you write it so that it matches my job, now you're encouraging me to say, oh, that sounds interesting. I'd want to hear more. Want to hear how he did it or she did it. Want to see how they might be able to apply it to this. That's what that's all about. That's why that accomplishment section is so important. And why that should change or could change each and every time, because you're matching it to the specifics of the job. You could have a list of 20 different accomplishments that you can pick and pull from. The other thing that I like about that accomplishment section, many of us are worried about aging ourselves, right? So you're only putting maybe 10 to 15 years of experience listed on your resume, and then you have a section called additional related experience after your experience, right? Where all you're doing is listing company name and title, no information. But because you've listed it on your resume, if something I did there is really important to this new job, I can include that skill up here. Doesn't age me. It's there. I can talk about it. It's legitimate. I can put an accomplishment that I did 25 years ago that relates to this new job up here without saying when it was, because it's important to this job. I did it before, I can do it again. It's one of the benefits of that accomplishment section. The other really important thing, here's where I look first. You want me to go beyond that 2 to 9 seconds? This is what's going to tell me that I should continue to look or to reach out for a call. One last thing. It is always related to what this job is all about, not to everything you've ever done. I know that you've done a lot more than you're ever putting on your resume. I get it. But by narrowing the field to what's important for this job, you're telling me that this is the job you want. I know that's not true. I know there are lots of them out there. They know that too. But psychologically, this tells me that. It also tells me that you've read the description, you know what this job is all about, and you want to do this job. You're going to be okay doing this job with whatever those limitations are. Telling a story on myself, I almost lost a job because I went beyond what the job was looking for. Okay, both in my resume and an interview. And I was talking about one of the things I was really proud of, which was the idea that I'm listed as an expert witness by the U.S. Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals in diversity, equity, and employment discrimination and employment-related issues. And I brought that up in an interview, and they said, okay, that's nice, but so what? That was my cue to focus in on what was important for this job. It had nothing to do with the job. Something I was proud of, but it had no bearing on the job itself. So focus in on what's there for the job. By the way, if I haven't gotten to all your questions now, I will try and do that in our private group or in a post. So if you have additional questions, please raise your hand or please add them into the chat. Remember, with the word question, because I'm going to follow up on all of those. TJ, you want to turn your camera on?
My camera is on.
All right, here you go.
Okay. Do you have a particular template you like to use for the resume? You've been talking about all these ATS friendly ones. Do you have a starting point template that you like to use?
I do actually, and I will add it into our private group.
That was my question, and that's a quick answer for you.
Okay, no problem. I can absolutely do that. Again, you can come up with whatever template you want. The one that I'm going to put in our private group is plain, dull, boring, which is what I want. You can add lines all the way across the page, okay, to separate sections. You can add bolding judiciously, okay, to highlight something. You can add a little bit of color if you want to, but please don't use too much. Remember, I'm looking at this either on screen, and if I print it out, I'm printing it out in black and white. Your colors are going to show up as gray. So always take a look at whatever resume format you're using, not only on your computer screen. Look at it on a tablet if you have one, on your phone, because we know that people are looking at these things in various different ways. It has to be ready for me to see. Don't worry so much about the ATS in terms of format. Plain, dull, boring formatting works for the ATS. Once you've got that down, worry about how you attract the human eye. And I talk a lot about the dummy on the other side of the desk or the screen. I mean it. If I have to search through that resume to find out how you match my job, I may just move on. It's up to you in that first quarter to third of a page to highlight how you match my job, what you can bring to my job, what skills and accomplishments you have that make me want to reach out to you, because otherwise I may pass. If you have to make me connect the dots for me, I'm not going to necessarily take the time to do that job for you. Right? Your goal is to show me how you solve my problems. And one of the ways you do that in your resume is by making it very clear how you match my job, what your skills are that you're bringing to my job, what accomplishments you have that I want to see in my job. One last thing, and I know we're past time, so I want to remind everybody that you need to copy the chat, and I will put it in our private group when we're done today. But the other thing is that I want to make sure that you know that please remove the word responsible for from your resume. Responsible for says this is what I was supposed to do, not what I did. Anywhere that you can, I want you to turn tasks into outcomes. I don't want to know what you were tasked with doing. I don't want to hear that I put to, this was what my role was. I want to know what the outcome was. Think about it in terms of, if I hadn't done this, what would have happened? What was the result that happened from what I did? It's a different way of looking at it. It's something that we will talk about a lot, okay, in a number of these sessions. But it's something that's so important that we keep bringing it up over and over again. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn off the recording once I can figure out where it is.